Hello and welcome in to another episode of Between the Hedges. Thank y'all for tuning in. Whenever that is, we really do appreciate it. What's going on?
Where you at, baby?
How was your Monday?
It's a Monday, man. You know, it should be, they should shorten it and make it a 4-letter word.
That's right.
It's definitely not a fun day. Mondays in trucking are tough, man. Excuse me.
You
How
got to
was your
start the
day?
week out. Yeah, it was good. Again, a Monday, not the greatest day of the week in my opinion. If we got rid of it or Friday, I think a lot of us would be happier as far as the 9 to 5ers, Monday through Friday people.
I'll take that
But
3-day work week.
if we could get rid of at least one, that would be nice. But
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I'm excited for tonight. I know we weren't on last night, but I promise you we're gonna make up for it. Those of you who tune in, so don't go anywhere. Um, we had a great championship weekend. I really think so.
I thought
Um,
it was really good.
yeah. But so you go ahead from, I don't want to say like an outsider's perspective, but like your team didn't play this weekend. How did you view the games that did happen? Is there one that stuck out? Kind of go with that to start with.
Um, I think two that really stuck out. I mean, heck, the elephant in the room is Indiana knocking off number one Ohio State, but then the way
Hmm.
Georgia dominated, just manhandled. And I know I gave your dad a hard time the whole day about it. I kept telling him I don't see what you're talking about. I could tell he was getting mad. But Georgia they put a can of whoop ass on Alabama. So they opened up a can and they just kept opening the more and more cans.
Yeah, that was multiple cans. As y'all know, me and Daddy Ice were there, and
Yes.
in the middle of the game, I was like, "All right, so we were up 21-0." I was like, "How many cans is this right now?" And then when we got up to 28-7, he goes, "Because of who it is and because of the history, and oh, does Georgia have an Alabama problem?" He's like, "This is a 5 can of whoop ass." I mean, it was the most glorious ending to a game in recent memory for me. Just again because of the history and people talking about, oh, Alabama's got the mental edge, and they're just gonna roll again, and don't worry about Georgia. They can't win this game. Um, yeah, and the overall theme that I kept hearing from people in the stadium, leaving the stadium, and since the game was belt to ass. I mean, that's
Mm,
just the best way to describe it.
they were whooping them. Well, and not only that, another elephant in the room is Kirby's 1 for 8 going into that game, if I'm not mistaken, playing Alabama. Is that correct? 1 for 7 out of 8
Yeah,
games. So he had a big thing to prove, and I believe they haven't. Have they beaten him in the SEC championship game, or was it the first time?
that was the first time.
Okay, so that was a
So,
big. That's a lot of weight, So
a lot of weight off the shoulders,
yeah.
lot of relief, lot of look who's watching there. Go dogs. That's right. It was a huge relief, a big it was big time getting the monkey off your back if you're Kirby Smart, because he hears that. He does probably the best job himself and with his team of blocking out the outside noise.
Yeah.
Um, it's very loud right now because there's shows like this. There's everybody's got their own podcast. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's putting their thoughts out there. And for us to, go out there in that fashion and win the game in the dominant way that we did, it was just, it was the icing on top to a great season. So
definitely made a statement, in my opinion. So it's definitely a good one. And then like I said, the two games, the other one was Ohio State and Indiana, and then you have all the selection committee, some of the drama they have during all that. So it's a big time weekend, man. So
very big. And I think we have Papa D at least here to talk, maybe. Maybe not show his
he said
face
he's
just
here.
yet.
Yep.
Yeah. You there, Papa D?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on?
Glad you could join us. What we were just going through the total belt to ass domination. I'm sure you got a lot to head to that.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Well, I'm shocked that you wouldn't watch that game. I'm totally shocked. But I will share a little quirk about watching that. I was watching the game with Janice. It was just two of us at home watching the game by ourselves. And at one point, I want to say it was probably before halftime, right before halftime. We were up 14-0. And I mean, you could just tell Alabama was not getting back in that game the way our defense was playing. They just weren't. And I looked over at Janice and I was like, winning the SEC championship again, back-to-back years is going to be it's fun. I was like, but it's another level beating the crap out of Alabama. It's just that much more fun.
Oh, I was telling. Go ahead.
Hey, you know it's true as an LSU fan. Anytime you beat the crap out of Alabama, it's just a little bit sweeter.
It is, because I think if LSU had a better offense this year, they would have beaten Alabama, and it was just, I think this year was a tough year for LSU, and heck, the last couple of years has been. So it's just one of those things that happen,
Well,
but I am here. I'm going to be here talking and commenting. I may be off camera for a little bit because I am actually still trying to eat my dinner. So I don't think anybody wants to watch while I'm doing that, but I will speak up.
No, understandable.
And yeah, I'll jump back on the video once I'm finished.
No problem.
Good. Just make it. Thanks for making an appearance, and just make sure to mute that mic too, so we don't hear the chomping.
Yeah,
although some people out there like that. It's called mukbang, and you just you just do all this eating noise, and I don't know, maybe we got some people out there on this.
It's gonna sound like
Ugg. Like that.
Sound like Ugg over there eating.
Yeah.
Well, I still, I was Papa D. I was telling the dog father that I was giving you a hard time this weekend. I didn't. I like to see your face when I kept texting you. I just don't see what you're talking about, man. I was hoping I was getting.
I could show you what the face was. It's this right here.
What are you talking about?
I know what the face was. He's like,
what are you talking about? Give me a hard time. When were you giving me a hard time?
Well, you were saying, are you watching this game? I'm like, yeah, I am. What game are you watching? I didn't think you were saying Georgia was opening up a can, and I was just denying all of it, and you were just going right back to me. I'm like, man, I think I got David going.
You always like stirring things up. I know you.
I did. I did today a little bit.
He's
you do.
That's
you
why
like
you're
doing
on
it.
here.
You just
What's
like
that?
stirring up crap.
Yeah.
You're on this show to help stir the pot.
If I know you probably texted Micah and Matthew separately.
I should have.
And said, "Watch this. I'm going to get your dad going for a second."
I should have done that.
You did, because you've done that with me, with your brother. You said, "Hey, watch this. I'm going to get it going."
Oh man, I'm gonna start doing that. I figured there's a boundary we can't cross, so I didn't want to do that to your boys. Between you two, I didn't want to separate it. But I will start doing it since you're giving me permission. Open invitation.
I think that was an invitation and permission, Tiger Mike.
So. It was. Thank you, Dollfather. I heard it too. We heard it here first.
Well, hey, I had one good question and a couple of other thoughts about the Georgia game, and then we can kind of move to some other games. But
one other quick thing I was going to say: is there any doubt that Georgia game was the game of the weekend?
Maybe slightly, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
What game was better than that this weekend?
Well, come on. I mean, number one and number
two. No,
two.
Seriously, what game was better than that game?
I just told you.
Anytime you watch Alabama get their ass kicked, it's a good night.
Look,
it is a good night.
Look, you asked the question, I gave you an answer. If you don't like my answer, don't ask the question.
I didn't hear an answer.
I just said number one against number two. I mean, come on.
It was a good one. It was a good one too. As far as like it being a close game coming down to the wire, and here's
Duke,
Daddy Ice chiming in. Duke and UVA was a competitive game too. So if you're talking about competitiveness, probably Indiana, Ohio State. But I mean, selfishly, I'm going to say the Georgia game was awesome because it's hard to beat that feeling.
Yeah,
of just taking Alabama to the woodshed, which was awesome.
It's nice.
Well, like I said, as a Georgia fan, that was the best game, of course. And then you see Matthew put a comment in the chat. He asked a question about how it proves that the conference championship games don't matter anymore because why did UGA not move up and Bama still stay in it? Well, here's the thing. I'm going to talk. Yeah, if you ask me, the committee got everything right as far as who they let in, except for the two. I have a problem with two group of five teams, but based on the rules that they have set in front of them, they didn't have a choice because Duke won the freaking ACC.
Yeah, thanks, Duke.
Now, as far as what Bama lost to at the time and still the number 3 team in the nation. Okay. You're not going to drop them out because they participated in an extra game that they qualified for, a conference championship game. You're not going to drop them out because they lose that game. If you do that, you're never going to get anybody to compete in those games anymore, period.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people think we might be headed that way anyway, but this was kind of like a way to delay that or kind of save it, because I mean,
but right now we operate in, we have those games, so you can't penalize a participant if they've done enough during the regular season, which everybody was saying before that game. Alabama had already qualified; they had done enough. They had a 99.9% chance of making it, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to drop them out just because they lose to a higher ranked team in the championship game. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. I think Alabama should be in, but we go back to then why play conference championships? Even if you're a 4 or 5 win team, if you win your championship game, you should be in, no matter what your record is. If you're in it, that should say something. I mean, and they beat a Virginia team. Go ahead.
Yeah, not to cut you off. I just meant that's why previously I've said you got to change the criteria to get to the conference championship game.
Well, the reason why Duke didn't get it because they won the championship is because they weren't. I don't even think they're still ranked in the top 25. It's the 5 highest ranked conference champions that get automatic bids. And for a fluky thing this season is 2 of the 5 are a group of 5 teams that are higher ranked than, Duke, who is the ACC conference champion. Otherwise, that's just them's the rules. I hate it. I don't agree with it, but them's the rules. That's what they had to do.
Well, then why not put Virginia over Miami? I mean, Virginia played in it. If that's the case, you said that
they're Alabama, not a conference champion.
They're not. Neither is Miami.
Neither is Miami, but Miami had a much better season.
They might have, but they didn't get a chance to play in their conference championship game.
They
That's
didn't,
right.
but
Yeah.
playing in your conference championship game isn't a prerequisite. I mean, there's been several times Alabama hasn't played in the conference championship, and they made it even when it was a 4-team playoff.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I remember back in 2011, I believe it was what it was, where LSU and I think Georgia played in the SEC championship. LSU wins, and then Alabama gets to go to the national championship game, which is terrible.
And that was pre-playoff, but yeah,
Yes.
that's a good example of it. There's a couple of other examples of it. I think that's why having like a uniform way of deciding who gets to the conference championship, throw away this kind of like this bowl of just random letters and just stir it up, and that's how it turns out, because that's basically what the ACC did, and in some ways that's how the SEC did it, because really if you go by head-to-head matchups, and you would get Georgia Ole Miss in that SEC championship game, not Georgia Alabama, but Alabama's opponent's strength. Yeah,
who would not like to see that play? That was a good game. Those two playing, I like to see that over again before Alabama, in my opinion.
And I honestly give Ole Miss a better shot at beating us than Alabama, because I think once we had played Alabama, we had figured them out, and it was game over, because we made them one-dimensional, and then they couldn't do anything. If you're one-dimensional against
thing
Georgia,
about it is you're probably going to get to see that rematch again, because
now we get it in the
probably
playoff.
going to beat Tulane, and then guess who they get to play when they beat Tulane?
True.
In the playoffs.
So now you probably still get the rematch, which is cool.
Oh, you do, but in a conference championship would have been nice for them, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and I just like to see that. Yeah, I like to have seen it. I mean, they won conference, I believe, back in the day in the 40s or 50s, but it's a lot different now than it was then when they were winning SEC and national championship back in the day. So,
yeah, I agree. I would have to agree with Papa D. I think based on the current criteria, they got it exactly right, but the problem is the criteria, and I think that's what's it's going to change, because I don't think they ever foresaw, a Power 4 conference being left out, or their conference champion being left out, or even participant in their championship game being left out. But that's what just happened. So,
what was
in
the
Big
deal
12
with the ACC?
and the ACC? So,
what the deal with the ACC would do, there was like 4 teams or 5 teams or something like that tied for second. Is that right? And then they somehow won the convoluted tiebreak to get in there, and then they screwed around and ended up winning the thing, right?
Yeah, it's just mixed salad, way of.
But they're going to change. They're going to change those qualifications, because remember last season there was all the hoopla about how they seeded the top 4 ranked conference champions as the seeds 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that offset. That's how Ohio State ended up less lower seed. I think they were 5 or 6 or something. Ended up making the run all the way and won the national championship. Well, they did that for one season. Again, Max, so guess what? This ain't gonna work. So we got to tweak this. So this off season, they're going to tweak those rules about how to get automatic qualifiers in, and especially when you're talking about group of 5 teams that honestly, I can understand throwing them a bone for one seat at the table, basically, but really, honestly, I don't even think they belong at all. It should be the 12 best teams in the U.S. regardless. And
I agree.
If one of those teams happens to be good enough where they're top 10 in the nation legitimately and they qualify for it, then so be it. But if just to give them a seat just because you're just doing it just as an automatic thing, I don't know. But I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how they're going to fix it, but they're going to be discussing it off season, and they'll probably make tweaks to it before this happens again next season.
Well, let's talk about this one. The number 4 seed. I know Texas Tech is a conference champion. Ole Miss isn't, Oregon isn't, but I think Ole Miss should be up there either. If not 3, then 4. I believe they played a stronger strength of schedule, and I believe they were in a lot of these games, and I think they're getting kind of railroaded, if you ask me as well, on that being ranked number 6 in the country.
Yeah, you could argue putting them up there, but they also, the 5 and the 6 seed are very desirable because you're going to play the 11 and 12, so you're guaranteed to play the G5, and then the other worst of the 12 teams in the field. So their draw is good from that, but yeah, I wouldn't have disagreed with putting them at 4.
Who are you talking about? Because I cut out. I didn't catch who you were talking about.
Ole Miss. I think they're getting shafted a little bit. I think they should be 3, if not at least they should be ranked number 4th in the country. Not 3. I apologize. 4th or 5th. They're ranked 6, so they should be 4th or 5th. So, in my opinion, here they are. They're going to play Tulane again, which they already played Tulane. They beat them handily, and I don't want to see that game again. I've already seen it this year. So.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that game.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wanted to see it the first time, to be honest with you.
Oregon and James Madison, come on.
That's a joke.
It is.
I think that's what's going to be the impetus behind making these changes, because the first 4 games, 2 of them are going to be total crap to watch. And how are they making money off of this? Getting eyeballs to watch these games. And if they're end up being 50-something to 10, nobody's going to be watching that for full 4 quarters.
Wouldn't you rather watch either Oregon and Notre Dame or Notre Dame and Ole Miss instead, or somebody like that, or heck,
if those 2 teams weren't in it, the 2 teams that I think should be in it would be Notre Dame
and Texas
and Vanderbilt.
I was going to say Vandy. To me, Vandy's on the outside.
I was going to say Vandy and Notre Dame should be the 11 and 12.
And then you would have Vandy.
You'd have Notre Dame going into Ole Miss. Tell me that wouldn't be a fun game to watch.
Oh, man, I was looking forward to that. I really thought that's what the game was going to be.
Vandy traveling out to Oregon to try to upset Oregon on the road. That would be unreal to watch those 2 games.
I totally agree.
I wouldn't be opposed to either of those. I just think if the 2 G5 didn't get in, they were going to put Texas in. So it would have been Notre Dame and Texas, in my opinion.
Here's the thing. If they add more teams, it's going to have the same more problems down the road if you got people picking it. It should go off your win record. It should go off conference. It should go – heck, they do it in Division II football. They do it and
Unfortunately, Mike, I don't think they would have let Texas in.
What's that?
If you're comparing them to Vandy, now I know they beat Vandy.
They won head-to-head.
But Vandy had a better record. Vandy's 10-2. Texas is 9-3. So you don't even get to the head-to-head competition because they got a better record than them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you. It's just it's become a resume thing too. So I think Texas had the better resume.
How did they have a better resume when they've got a worse record?
Well,
because they beat Vandy, they went up to Ohio State, played a close game,
and they lost.
They beat Oklahoma, who's in the field,
and they lost to Florida.
Florida's a bad loss, and
that's a horrible loss.
Well, hold on, but Florida. Hold on, let's not crap on Florida now because
that's a horrible loss.
Because they have a bad record at the end of the season. They were much better when Texas played them. We all picked Florida to beat Texas because of how Florida was playing and how Texas was playing at the time.
It's still a bad loss. And that's what everybody's saying. Plus, it's 3 losses.
We didn't know how Florida was going to implode and Billy Napier was going to get fired.
But we do now.
Right. So, that would have been
when they're making the final decision, they've got the whole thing, they've got
they got the whole picture. I think I've got a couple of thoughts and I've heard a couple of things floated on how to change this. One would be having a totally separate G5 playoff, kind of like the FCS, where
good.
only G5 teams are in there. You rank them, 1 to whatever. You could be 24 like the FCS. I don't care. And you pour money into that, and to where one of those teams actually has a chance to win a championship, and you can call it the G5 National Championship or whatever you want to call it. And then that keeps them from stealing bids, because really that's what happened. Based on the rules, it's what they had to do. They were forced to do it, but they stole a couple of bids from Notre Dame, who could have, probably won a couple of games at least in this playoff. And, y'all say Vandy. Let's just go with Vandy, who would have a much better shot against Oregon, although I probably wouldn't pick them, but they would have a much better shot than JMU. That's without question. The second way to make changes, I don't think expansion is the answer. I'm not a proponent of expansion. I was not in favor of it when we went from 4 to 12, but since we're here, if you want to expand it to 14 or 16, fine, but just rank the top 16 or 14 teams in order. If you want to give buys for it to work out fairly, or you just make sure it's the best teams. Don't do all these qualifications. Don't attach all these parameters to it. You can use the data, you can use the film and the eye test and all that stuff to determine who these teams are. But yeah, I just think you gotta line them up straight up and let it play out on the field, and give us more home, playoff games, not more games at neutral sites. That's how I think you fix it. What do you?
Well, I don't have any problems with anything about what you said, to be honest with you. The only thing I would suggest is, with what we're seeing with, these losers led by Notre Dame opting out of taking any bowl games, I think you got to incorporate some of those lower tier bowl games to make them part of if you do expanded playoffs and including G5 teams, you've got to incorporate those bowl games to make them viable again. Otherwise, teams are just going to continue to just opt out totally and not even want to play in those games, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why you wouldn't take the opportunity to practice, get your young guys extra reps, and get prepared, set yourself up for having a good year the next year, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We talked about it earlier via text. I agree too. Again, I think Notre Dame and Vandy are the two that are left out. I know BYU screaming about it, but they got
mollywopped twice.
Yeah, mollywopped by Texas Tech 2 games in a row. They're definitely not. They're not where they need to be.
And the truth of the matter is, no matter how many teams get in, you're always going to have somebody pissed off, somebody saying, well, we beat so-and-so and we deserve this, and this is our best season yet. You're always
going to have
that.
If it were 16, number 17 and 18 are going to be crying.
It is. Yeah.
It's true. You're right. That is always the case.
What solves that is the committee coming out strong and saying, sorry, do better next year. And guess what? Don't opt out of your freaking bowl game or you're ineligible for the next playoff.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like that rule.
But here's the thing. Notre Dame only lost 2 games. So, I mean, how much better can you do besides go undefeated? So that's a tough one.
You can win 11. You can win 12. You can join a conference if they were a full member of the ACC, like they are in every other sport. If they were a full member of the ACC in football, guess what? They would have been in the ACC championship against Virginia, and they would have probably won that game. And guess what? They would have gotten an automatic bid as an automatic qualifier for the ACC championship.
Listen,
I don't want to hear you griping and crying.
I understand all
because you didn't get preferential treatment.
You don't have to sell it to me
that you're Notre Dame.
You don't have to sell it to me. I'm just saying. I mean, how much better can you get from a 10-2 season? I mean, so unless you're LSU or Georgia, you got a 10-2 season and something's wrong, you know.
Well, some people argue that the two losses were the only two decent teams that they played.
Yeah, well, that's what I think they played. I think they played 4 ranked teams this year. Anyways,
if you go off the AP poll, which is a joke.
Okay, so James Madison is worthy.
No, they're not worthy.
No, we've already discussed that. James Madison, Tulane, they should not be in the big boy, national championship playoff. They just shouldn't.
No way.
It's kind of like I heard a good analogy. I think it was on the radio today. It's like if you got a G League basketball team that got an automatic qualification for the NBA playoffs. That's what this is like.
Well, it's kind of like what they're doing with the play-in games with the NBA too, because you've got like 10, 11, and 12 that are in the mix, and there's only 14
but at least
teams
those
in the
are all
conference.
NBA teams. At least those are all NBA teams.
That's true.
But
it feels similar.
You're not playing the same sport when you're talking about an Alabama, a LSU, a Georgia, an Ohio State versus Tulane, UCF, Boise State,
Kennesaw State,
JMU, those type of teams. It's just not the same. It just isn't. And there's not enough teams in the field to give out automatic qualifiers to those type teams.
No. Yeah. I think we're headed towards a lot of change. So buckle up, get ready. It's going to be fun.
We talked about the same thing during the BCS. It's just.
Yep, it's always going to be controversial. It doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, you brought up the BCS. The final BCS rankings were very similar to these rankings.
Well, I mean, it's still computers. They still have stats and graphs and computers spitting out numbers and all that kind of stuff for them to base their decisions on. So yeah.
But that does 95% of the work for them, in my opinion. And the other 5% is them getting in the room, talking for 30 minutes and being like, oh, I want this team here and I want this team there. Okay, we're done.
And I will say this before we move on. The one thing the committee did do a disservice to Notre Dame, and I will give them credit for this, is they should have had Miami ranked above them the entire time because they beat them head to head. And they always had at least the same record, if not better. So the fact that they ranked Notre Dame ahead of them this whole time, and then all of a sudden this last one, finally we're going to take head to head in the conversation and move Miami when neither one of the teams played this past weekend. I get that. That was bad.
That's a load of crap.
I don't understand why they did that this whole time. Yeah.
The last great idea that I've heard from all of this is doing away with the Tuesday night show because it does more harm than good at this point. I mean, the argument for keeping it is accountability. You get to see week to week what the committee's thinking, but you also, the argument against having the Tuesday night show, you get away from seeing that what they're thinking, and then you have when they have the full picture, we would have just been like, oh yeah, Miami was better all year. Fine. No big deal. If they just reveal it at the end of the season.
So there would only be one final CFP ranking at the end of the season is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that makes sense.
Because you get rid of all the drama. Yeah, ESPN makes a little bit less money on the weekly basis the last 4 weeks of the season. Whatever, they can deal with it, or you really put accountability in there and you televise the debates each week between the committee members. They're never going to do that, but that would be fun.
I just pulled something up. It looks like for some reason I'm showing two different things. Ole Miss is ranked 6th in one and then another 5th in another. I'm looking at a CBS poll there. But they're ranked 5th and not 6th, so over Oregon. I'm not sure which one's true. If you want to check that out and let me know if you can find out the facts on that.
Well, I mean, there are other polls besides just the college football playoff rankings.
Yeah, that's what this is the college football. It says it. I thought this was
CFP. There's 6.
so. No, this is power rankings. My bad. I'm sorry. Looked at it wrong.
Yeah,
thanks, Papa.
they do a power rankings, and they also, their analysts will put together, their own predictions for what it's going to be and all that. So I saw plenty of those too.
Well, I'm not going to. I'm sorry. Somebody just texted me from work. Sorry. Look, I think the drama's still here. It's gotten worse, in my opinion. Since they stretched it out from the 4 to now we got the 12. It's just, I think it's gotten worse. So I think it's going to keep going that way, and unless they let the players play on the field and let them determine who's going to be in the next game. That's just my opinion. Let it on the field. Don't leave it to guys in a boardroom wearing polo shirts decide who's going to play who.
Yeah, and especially the chair being the guy who absolutely fumbled the Arkansas coaching search, but I digress. And other small news, Penn State has a coach.
Hey, I think they ended up with a dang good coach out of all of it too.
They should have just started there. Why not start there?
Well, I mean, when they fired James Franklin, he was already coaching Iowa State. So
was Signetti. That's who they wanted, So like you have what you want, but I think
Now is he better than James Franklin? I don't know. I guess time will tell. We'll be able to compare him if he's there for however long James Franklin was there and compare notes at that point. But
I think they got a dang good coach.
Yeah.
I think
took them long enough.
Great. Yeah, it did take them a while.
Who was the coach for Iowa State? Is that who it was?
I think it is. I think that's where he came from.
I thought so too.
Yeah, Matt Campbell from Iowa State.
Okay.
Very
welcome
much
to the big
grinder.
boy league. Welcome to the big boys. See how you can do, right?
I think he'll do.
Are they really the big boys?
Penn State? Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Penn State?
We think they're second tier, but
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
All right, bigger boys than where you were. How's that?
There, yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd rather stay in Iowa than go to Pennsylvania. So
I guess that paycheck convinced him.
Yeah.
I've just probably add a couple zeros at the back of my paycheck. I'd go to Alaska. We talked about that a couple
exactly.
weeks back.
I'd go freaking, I don't know where. It don't matter. Give me a few more zeros. Well, do we want to hit our final pick'em week results here?
Let's do it.
Kind of show how it ended up. We already know how it ended up, so can we just get past that and just get on with this? We know how it's been finished.
Hey,
I think I lost 3 games.
Well, the reminder, these are the games we pick, right? SEC, North Texas, Tulane, Texas Tech, BYU, Virginia, Duke, and Ohio State, Indiana.
BYU, man.
The results.
BYU. I think I lost 3 games. Oof.
Yeah, so did I. Matthew coming in clutch with the championship week.
Yeah, Matthew had a great championship week. Good job for you, because you had the opposite of me. This was my worst week.
Good job.
I think this was my worst week too.
Good job, Daddy Ice.
This is just puke all over the screen as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I haven't felt this bad all season.
Hey, but all I got to say is you look at the bottom line, and I just am thoroughly impressed that every single one of us is over 500 for the season. I mean, you're talking 15 weeks of picking 6-7 games a week, and overall, everybody's 51% or better on their picks. I mean, that's unreal.
And just for comparison, last season we all finished below 500. Is that correct?
I can tell you exactly what we finished. Let me pull it up. Go ahead and talk about whatever you want to talk about while I'm pulling it up.
All I gotta say is, damn Virginia.
Yeah, man.
And
I was thinking that too.
Damn North Texas. Like, what the hell? I got on here and I was like the biggest advocate of North Texas's offense and how explosive and the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he just absolutely shat the bed.
Let's take a step back there, because what I said, Tulane's defense is strong this year. And if I'm not mistaken, Daddy Ice says defense wins championships, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and I had almost convinced you to, if we were picking after the show, you would have changed your pick, right?
Yeah.
Like I had convinced you that North Texas was going to win, and then
Tulane came out. Hey, you know what? I should say Tulane, they came out and kind of dominated that game in the beginning. I know North Texas came on towards the end. I know, Dogfather, you and I were texting back and forth, but I think going into the fourth quarter, you told me they were up by 24 points. Is that correct? You said? So
yeah, Tulane got out to a big lead, almost ran away and hid, and then here comes North Texas storming back, and I was like, don't say that so fast, not so fast. And then just another pick, and it was over. So, and then, dude, Texas Tech just mollywhopping BYU again, man. I was totally wrong about that. I was like, come on.
You and me both.
I thought BYU had, a lot more pride. They were going to play for a trophy, and, I love their coach.
They're not even on the same level. They're not. They're really not. They're not on the same level. I mean,
Texas, they just don't have the dudes.
They just came in and dominated. That Virginia Duke game, who would have thought that? I mean, I guess Vegas knew. You know my opinion on all that stuff. I think they do have a handle on this. So.
The fact about Duke is they got obliterated by Virginia like 3 weeks before. And then you get to this game and everybody's like, oh, the doomsday scenario is if Duke wins the ACC. Well, then guess what? They screw around and they win the ACC. And now you get – if
JMU and Tulane.
Yeah, all of you that are pissed off – if you're pissed off about the final rankings and who got into the playoff, blame Duke. Duke is the reason. They are solely responsible for all this crap. So, including – me losing this pick. So thanks, Duke.
All right, I pulled it up and just to give you guys a comparison. I know Mike wasn't a part of it last year with us, but Micah, you brought up the rear last year.
I did.
You were 28 and 51.
That's awful.
Good showing.
35% clip.
Hey, in baseball, that's a darn good average.
That's a good batting average, right?
But it's even better this season.
And then Matthew was second. He was 37 and 42. So he was 47%. And then I was 38 and 41. So I was 48%.
So none of us were over 500.
Nope.
And then we're over 500. And I totally about flipped my totals.
Yeah. I mean, we all did very, very well this season in our picks. If we'd actually put money on the picks that we made, we would all come out ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Which is wild.
Well, I guess next year I'm putting money on it.
Next year we'll probably go back, so you never know. I may not be a good idea.
Yeah, this was the year, Tiger Mike. That's the point. We should have won some money while we
can't go back in time.
Well, Greg said he'll take it to the casino and get a bookie. He'll put money on you.
Okay, let's go, Greg. Come on, you got my phone number. Let's go. If you'll bankroll it, I'll pick the games for you. Let's go. We'll both split the money. Hey, we could all as a show be like a brain trust and put our thoughts together and do it that way. Split the money. If y'all are interested.
I'm in it.
So getting back to these championship games.
Yeah, what do you say?
The Texas Tech BYU game, my gosh. I mean, how can BYU? I don't know. They just had trouble with Texas Tech. I guess it's one of those things where it was not a good matchup for them either.
Texas Tech just had their number, man. I mean, gee, it's 34-7. They shut them out in 3 quarters. They only scored
kind of like Georgia did to Alabama.
Gosh, somebody, it was. I think this one was probably a little bit worse.
And then
because they dumped to them twice this year, just the same
Virginia
way.
just couldn't get out of their own way in that game. Now granted, they did make a furious comeback to send it to overtime, but yeah, doomsday is upon us with Duke winning that game. Thank you for allowing JMU in by winning the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what can you say about Indiana? I mean, they go on the road earlier this season. They beat Oregon at their place, and then take out Ohio State, number 1 ranked team in the Big Ten championship.
That was a good one. 1 versus 2. That's why it was such a good one. Ohio State is the perennial powerhouse. Indiana is the new kid on the block coming in. You asked earlier, Papa D, which game was better? To me, I mean, just the build up to that. You could 1 against 2. I know you could. Georgia, Alabama is always going to be there. I mean, it's just that's a steady one. You okay over there? You gonna cough up something?
Yeah.
But come on. I mean, that's awesome, man. Indiana coming through. I like it. Go Hoosiers. Hey. Go Hoosiers.
Hey, I liked Ohio State losing. Don't get me wrong.
I liked Indiana winning more than Ohio State losing. I just thought it was pretty cool. Kirk Cinetti, 2 years. And then look at it. 2 years removed from coaching James Madison. And look at whose team is number 12 right now, James Madison. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that means he left that program in a really good spot.
It does.
And then he built Indiana overnight. Hats off to them. They won their first Big Ten championship since World War II, 1945. Wow. That's a long time. Okay. Wow. That's almost 80 years ago now.
Oh gosh, your dad was born then, so
in fact it was 80 years ago now because we were in 2025. So there you go. And I think, Indiana deserves all the credit. They got after them, they stopped them, they got pressure, all this. But even with all of that, Indiana playing their best game and the best possible outcome for them happening, Ohio State had 2 drives at the end of the game. One was 12 plays over 6 minutes, and it was a turnover on downs. They got 0 points. The next one was
a field goal.
A 15-play, 81-yard drive for 8 minutes, and then they missed a field goal. If they just hit one of those and get a field goal, it's overtime.
If was a skiff, we'd all have a boat.
If they'd have gotten 2 field goals, they would have won.
Yeah,
and
they would have.
That's why I'm saying just everybody look. Indiana deserves all the credit. They're going to get all the hype. But listen, just remember what happened last year with Oregon being praised for being the number 1 seed, and then here comes Ohio State and they steamroll them in the quarterfinal. I'm just saying, I don't think that's going to happen in Indiana because they're a better team, but they're not going to be deeper than everybody that they face. So just.
Not only that, let's go back to this unstoppable Ohio State defense. I mean, they did hold Indiana to only 13 points, but still, they looked unstoppable to me, in my opinion. I mean, it was just
who looked unstoppable.
Well, Indiana in the beginning, they were rocking and rolling the first 2 quarters, just kind of going up and down. Now they didn't score any points, but they were moving the ball pretty well in the air, and they were, So
yeah, I wonder if some of the stats and all that Ohio State's defense has put up is a product of who they played in the Big Ten.
yeah,
I think so.
totally agree.
I think they had a great scheme on defense. I think they have a lot of great players. They probably have the two best players in the country, one at wide receiver, one at safety. But yeah, I think their defensive stats are a little bit inflated by a top-heavy Big Ten. Let's just be honest. There's a reason why the Big Ten only got 3 teams.
Well,
There's
what
a
about
reason.
that hit too that Indiana's quarterback took early on, like the second or third drive of the game? I thought he was going to get knocked out.
I
That was
like
a
him a
pretty.
lot. He's got a
That
lot
was
of
a
moxie, and he's very humble.
that was
I
a
like
tough
that.
hit. I didn't realize his brother was on the team.
Yeah. He was there first.
And he's the backup quarterback.
He's the backup quarterback. Isn't that crazy?
Because when he went out, that's who came in.
I know, I saw. I'm like, what? I didn't know that. So
Wait,
that was pretty cool.
Mendoza? It was the Spider-Man.
I thought he was hurt.
Yeah,
Wrong Mendoza.
wrong Mendoza. Oh man.
So all in all, a decent weekend of games, even though there's just a handful because it's just championship weekend.
And
yeah,
but it was fulfilling for me because I get to watch my dogs beat up on Alabama.
yes, you did. Look, here's a stat to that game, real quick. Indiana and Ohio State. The defense was stouted, or they were talked about by Ohio State, and they allowed over 100 yards rushing. Indiana held Ohio State to 58 total yards rushing in that game.
wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, their running back had been doing quite well this season, right?
Yeah.
He rushed over 1,000 yards. Yep, rushed for over 1,000. 6.2 yards an average.
Well, they didn't have the two-back system this year, so let's keep that in mind too. They had a good 1-2 punch last season where they were splitting the carries. This year, their running back was the bell cow. He got it, 8 times out of 10. So, yeah, they were going to have a 1,000-yard rusher again.
But 6.2 yard average, 6.2 yard. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, it is. It's good. You got to go out there and do it. I'm not downplaying that. What I'm downplaying is the strength of the Big Ten. I think
is that due to freshman?
I think so.
I'll tell you. Bam.
I think he is.
He is a freshman,
and his name is Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. Yeah, I saw that.
His name is Bo Jackson.
You're talking about having some shoes to fill and live up to your name. My gosh.
Yeah. Well, listen, they held that kid to only 83 yards, and he averages 89 yards a game. And the team, minus the sacks that the quarterback took, it was minus 29 yards. So it gave him only a total net gain of 58 total rushing yards. So
yeah, that's how Georgia held Alabama to -3 was you throw in the sacks.
Yeah.
Got to -3. But still, to hold anybody, it counts. That's the way they do college rushing stats is you take off sack yardage. But, I mean, that's ridiculous. I saw somebody tweeted you, meaning every one of us, had more rushing yards than Alabama this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, all three of us had more.
And there were 15 teams that outrushed 15 SEC teams that outrushed Alabama this weekend.
Well, Indiana's defense came to play. And they showed up.
So did Georgia's.
They did a good job. I don't think Indiana's going to be able to take on Georgia, in my opinion. So I think
I hope we get to see that.
I'm about to say if they do get to play each other, talk about a mollywop, in my opinion.
I hope we get to see that.
If we do, it's going to be in the championship. So
that's
we both
have
to.
I said that.
Yep.
We both have to run the table and get there, which is, possible, maybe even likely at this point. But I just see in a possible quarterfinal game against Oregon again, a rematch. And Texas Tech, if Texas Tech dispatches Oregon, watch out. So
Yeah. Do you think Texas Tech will have a shot against Georgia?
I don't think their offense will be good enough.
No. Texas Tech could get there. They could get to that game, but I think it would be shades of TCU a few years ago. Although they've got way more talent than that TCU did.
Their defense is way better than TCU's was a few years back.
But the sides of the ball were way out of balance. It was their offense that was so good that year, right? So this year it's the defense. I'm not sure that their quarterback can go win a game.
No,
he hasn't had to do that by himself yet.
So we ready to reveal our final rankings of the season?
Let's look at it.
Yeah, let's see how this shook out.
What's funny to me about this is a couple things that I noticed. Micah, you and I have the exact same order for the top 9 teams. The second part that was funny to me is that Matthew and Mike, both of y'all, every single place you changed. Everybody changed on your whole rankings. Both of you, whether it was up or down, everybody moved for this final one. So I just thought those were two interesting things that I noticed when I was compiling all of it together.
Yeah. Well, look, I think. Go ahead.
No, you got it. I was just saying that is interesting. What you got, Tiger?
Look, I think Georgia should be number 2. Ohio lost even though they are a 1-loss team, I think Georgia's strength of schedule is a lot harder than Ohio State. So that's why I picked them. The Texas Tech.
Plus, Georgia's a conference champion now, and
true.
Ohio State is not.
True. Good point. If we're talking about conferences, then Duke should be in there somewhere. But conference champs, but
not a chance.
Hey, you said it, not me. I'm just saying.
We could have another 12 teams after this, and Duke still wouldn't be on there.
And they're not. They weren't in the final rankings.
They're a conference champ. But anyways, the only one I think if I did switch them up would be Texas Tech and Ole Miss. Ole Miss definitely is top 5. I think they had a better strength of schedule than Texas Tech. But Papa D will probably bring this up. Texas Tech did win their conference, so.
They did.
So that's the only thing I would change on mine. Of course, Notre Dame should be in there over Miami. Or Vandy, Notre Dame, Miami.
People were saying, 3 teams, 2 spots, Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame. And I said, just put them all 3 in. That's why they're all 3 in mine.
Yeah.
And then you could debate Texas and Vandy like we did earlier. I put Texas in. Y'all heard why I thought that. That's fine. I would not be upset with Vandy getting in. And I would not have been upset if Notre Dame, Miami, Alabama, and Vandy or Texas got in, and then we don't get to see 2 pretenders in the field. I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
And we were knocking Notre Dame and Coach Freeman, right?
Yeah.
For doing their little opt-out since they're pouting because they didn't make the college football playoff. They're not going to join any bowl game. So more power to them. Good luck with that strategy. But I got to say the polar opposite of that. I lost a lot of respect for Coach Freeman. I would have said before this, if you gave me to pick any coach I could have on coaching my team that wasn't Kirby Smart, I probably would have picked him because he's young and he's just on top of it.
He is.
But after he pulled this stunt today, I would no longer do that. But then the polar opposite of that is Vanderbilt and how they handled it and Coach Lee. I mean, he flat out got out there in his end of the season press conference and said, yeah, we didn't make it, but you know what? It's our fault. We didn't do enough. We didn't win the games that we needed to win to make it to where we were no doubt in the field. So, and they're going to their bowl game. I forget who they're playing. But they're playing, and guess what? Their quarterback's playing too. He's not opting out.
There you go.
Yeah, there's just a difference in how these programs are run, and that's getting more and more apparent, just by the year, by the day.
All right, they're playing Iowa. That's going to be a good game. And Iowa's always in these bowl games every year. It's Reliant Quest Bowl. So, the Vandy, that is.
And they could have put their nose up at that because they're like, look, we've had the best season in Vandy history. Notre Dame has not had the best season in Notre Dame history. I mean, let's be real. So Vandy has a lot more to be upset about, but they're just going to put their head down. They're going to get back to work, and that's a reflection of their coach. And I'm with Papa D. I would have probably picked Marcus Freeman and or Dan Lanning after Kirby Smart. Now it's clearly Dan Lanning, or I probably would pick Clark Lee, to be honest with you. I mean, I just love the mentality there that the
like him
culture
too.
that he's established.
I was really hoping he would be available for LSU. I liked him a lot for what he did for Vandy. But here's a little Christmas analogy for you, and I'm done. Poor Notre Dame didn't get to play reindeer games, but one day Santa's going to call Rudolph to lead his sleigh, and he'll prove himself again. How's that?
There you go. I like that. Very appropriate for the season. And
did you come up with that all by yourself?
I did. It took me all day.
You wrote it. You took notes, didn't you?
Wrote that one down.
You have it written down. You have it written down on a piece of paper right in front of your face there, don't you?
You wish you thought of that one, don't you?
I do. I'm jealous.
Yeah. That was very good. And that's part of the season. And, we say Merry Christmas around here. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ain't that right?
And Happy New Year. Come on. I remember Run DMC.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, look here. That's the end of the regular season. We've gotten to the end of another season. It's already here. I can't believe it. That was probably, this has probably been our best season so far. So it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed the new addition of Tiger Mike. Even though he is an LSU fan, he brings a lot to the show. So appreciate you joining us this season.
I bring a lot to the show, Papa D. You heard that?
He does. He brings that flavor, that Cajun flavor.
Yeah, boy.
We needed another Matty Ice, Daddy Ice type, and we got it. It balances out you and me. So this is perfect.
Yeah, I agree. It works.
It's worked, and hopefully
now this isn't our final show, right?
No, that's what I was about to get to. Don't bury the lead for me, please.
Oh,
that's what I thank you. We would like to continue this through the off season if possible, but I know at least for the next few weeks through the playoff, I would love to keep doing a show at least, once a week, just to kind of go over the happenings of the week and kind of lead up to those first playoff games. And heck, we can talk about some of the better bowl games. We don't have to talk about the Gator Bowl or anything like that if we don't want to.
Poinsettia Bowl. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we don't talk about anything Gators on this show. So, and we do have
Well, when's the Army-Navy game? I like watching that one. When is that one coming up?
That's this upcoming week.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So that's this upcoming week. And, it may not be, I won't say worth doing the show, but, maybe we could. my thoughts are we did get a response from our buddy Big Dog Brett, who popped into the chat about a month and a half ago, if y'all remember,
Big
saying
Dog Red.
that we could get on his podcast and do like a joint kind of show. He responded to me about that, and
Cool.
looks like he wants to do that before the playoff. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll get together and talk about a good time to do that, and we can all do a show together on probably on his podcast. So we'll be sure to link it for you here and put it on our socials so you can watch us. But I think that'll be a good opportunity for us to, kind of elevate our show and get on a podcast that's been doing well for a few seasons. So
watch out, Big Dog Brett. Here we come.
Yeah, watch out now. We're gonna bring some of the excitement.
I don't think he knows what he's getting into.
No, he doesn't. Hey, I gotta have Greg on here,
especially if Tiger Mike's neighbor shows up.
Oh God. Oh God, Double D.
Double D.
We ought to send Double D the link to the invite.
Oh gosh, that'll be a 5-hour show then.
Yeah, we know.
We've almost gone 5 hours the 2 times he's been on here already.
Yes.
But anyway, that was just a big announcement. I found that out right before we were live tonight. So cool. we will be on. Let me get the name of the show before I tell everybody it wrong. So we will get together and be with him. Y'all talk for a second while I find the name to his podcast. So I want to link it here for our audience.
What games are you looking forward to this weekend, Papa D? Boise State and Washington might be a decent one. You got Army Navy. I always love watching Army Navy, man. That's a cool one. Just the pageantry of that one is pretty neat.
Yeah, that one's awesome. That one I think we should have picked this week. So I saw some people picking that for their championship week picks just because it's kind of the standalone game of the weekend. We could have done that, but oh well.
Which one?
Which thing, Papa D?
I didn't hear because I cut out again and I couldn't hear what y'all were saying. So
I said, who you got? Are you looking forward? Who you got in the Army Navy game, and what games are you looking forward to watch? The only two that I see look really good or strong is the Boise State and Washington, and then you have Army Navy, which I always like watching that game.
Yeah, that's a fun game to watch. I would think Navy probably has the edge in that matchup this season. Because a lot of people were thinking they would be the one that was probably make the group of 5 be that earlier in the season. They were talking about them being the representative for the group of 5 team, but obviously they lost a couple of games they weren't expecting to or something along the way and dropped out of that consideration. But
they are they're 9-2 for the season, and Army is 6-5. So, and Navy, go ahead.
I think that game will be great. I love the Army Navy game. I did find this, so sorry about that. I meant to have this ready, but it's BDB Sports Media. So it's Big Dog Brett and Sports Media. I'm gonna link his channel in the comments here, or in the description rather, so that our audience can find us, and I will be sure to post on the channel and on our socials when we'll be on there with him. So y'all be sure to get with me later about that, and everyone that's tuning in tonight, say thank you to Big Dog Brett and give him a follow. We'll be on that.
I'm looking at some of the podcasts now, some of these ones. Okay. Good deal.
That's
another
exciting.
Another Georgia big-headed guy that's got probably a swollen head and can't fit through the door like the other guys I know.
What you got to say, Papa D, about that? I heard you. I saw you.
I'm not saying a word. No, I'm not going to say a word.
Well, so Tiger Mike, you're already outnumbered, but then you're going to be outnumbered 4-1.
Yeah.
So you
That's
might want
all
to
right.
call some backup for that show.
I can hold my own. I'm a pretty scrappy guy.
We've noticed. Well, that was another amazing show. Appreciate y'all hopping on here tonight. Sorry to Daddy Ice that you couldn't join us, but next time definitely be on the big collab with BDB Sports Media if you can, Daddy Ice.
Be cool.
If we could get all four of us on there with him, that would be awesome. So,
what day did you say that was?
We have not settled on a date. He just said before the playoffs, so we will discuss that
before Georgia plays in the playoff.
Before the playoff starts, is what he says.
Okay, so that would be
prior to the 19th,
like the 19th and 20th, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've got about a week, a little over a week here to figure it out, and like I said, I'll make an announcement on the channel and on our socials.
That should be fun.
Yep. Absolutely. And like I said, it's been fun this season. That wraps up the regular season. Really cannot believe that, but it's awesome. It's been an awesome year. And everybody, do me a favor. If your team's not in the playoff, just root on the Dogs. I think we probably got the best chance. If you need a team, bandwagon, the bandwagon's open. Let's go. We've got some bandwagoners from the last few years. It's still open.
That's so.
Hop on. We'll take them any and all. And everyone, go have a wonderful week. We'll be in touch about shows in the future. So definitely give us a like if you like what we're doing. Subscribe so that you know what the heck is going on. And turn on the notifications so that if we just pop up and we're on, you at least know, that where we're at, what's going on. So thank y'all. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Tigers. Tiger bait.